Have you ever wondered what people are truly thinking behind their words? In a world where appearances can deceive, understanding the subtle cues in tone, body language, and actions offers a profound insight into human nature. The art of reading people without them knowing isn't about manipulation. It's about connection, seeing past the surface to grasp their true motivations, fears, and desires. This skill is a gift of wisdom, especially for those who've spent decades observing life's complexities. It helps us navigate relationships with clarity, trust, and empathy, while also protecting ourselves from false intentions. So, as you look around at those closest to you, ask yourself, what might their unspoken words and actions reveal about their innermost truths? So number 1, Epictetus once said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." Have you ever felt that conversations today seem rushed and shallow? People often wait for their turn to talk instead of truly listening. But listening isn't just polite, it's a doorway into the world of another person. For those of you over 60, you may understand this truth more deeply than most. Life has shown us that understanding doesn't come from clever words, but from silence, respect, and sometimes just 3 simple words. Tell me more. This technique, seemingly simple yet profoundly powerful, can transform not only how you communicate, but how you perceive others. By encouraging someone to share more, you're not only making them feel valued, but also uncovering layers of their true self. This doesn't just deepen connections, it brings clarity and meaning to relationships that might otherwise stay on the surface. Think back to a conversation that truly made you feel connected. Wasn't it when the other person genuinely listened without interrupting or rushing to share their thoughts? Listening, as Stoic philosophy teaches, is not about waiting for your turn to speak, but about being present. When you say, "Tell me more," you're sending a message that says, "I'm here, fully present, and I care about what you have to say." In Stoic philosophy, understanding others is a cornerstone of wisdom. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Dig into their souls, see what their intentions are, and understand who they truly are." Asking someone to share more isn't about gathering information. It's about exploring the depths of their mind and heart. This is especially powerful in long-standing relationships where understanding becomes the foundation of trust and love. The "tell me more" technique isn't reserved for special occasions. It can be woven into the fabric of daily life. 1. With family. When your grandchild shares about their day at school or your child discusses challenges at work, resist the urge to advise immediately. Instead, ask, "How did that make you feel?" This opens the door to a richer understanding of their experiences. 2. With friends. When an old friend recounts the struggles they're facing, gently say, "What's been the hardest part for you?" You'll be amazed at how much they reveal when they don't feel judged. 3. In difficult situations, if you suspect someone isn't being fully honest or is holding something back, asking them to elaborate often leads them to inadvertently share more than they intended. The magic of "tell me more" lies not just in the words spoken, but in the safe space it creates. When people feel truly heard, without interruption or judgment, they lower their defenses. They share their fears, dreams, and truths that they might not even realize they were holding back. Imagine being in a conversation with someone about a significant decision they've made. Instead of saying, "Why did you do that?" try, "Tell me more about what led you to that choice." Their answer may surprise you, not just in what they say, but in how deeply they trust you with their vulnerability. Stoicism reminds us that listening is not just about understanding others, but also about understanding ourselves. When you truly listen, you learn to control your reactions and set aside your biases. As Epictetus wisely observed, we cannot learn if we are already speaking. By asking someone to share more, you not only gain knowledge, but also cultivate humility, a virtue Stoicism holds in the highest regard. Practicing "tell me more" also fosters empathy, the ability to step into someone else's shoes and see the world from their perspective. This enriches your own life while nurturing relationships that are built on trust and understanding. So, the next time you sit down with someone, a loved one, a friend, or even a stranger, How will you listen? Will you set aside your reactions and be fully present? Will you have the courage to say, "Tell me more," and truly mean it? And perhaps most importantly, as you reflect on your own conversations, ask yourself, when I listen, am I only hearing words, or am I truly seeing the soul of the other person? Number 2. You can judge a man's character by how he treats those who can do nothing for him. Life has a way of revealing truths in the smallest, quietest moments. Often, these truths are found not in the grand gestures or public displays, but in how someone behaves when there's nothing to gain and no one to impress. For those of us who have lived 6 decades or more, we've likely encountered people whose true nature shines or falters when they think no one of importance is watching. And, perhaps, like me, you've come to understand that how a person treats someone in a lower position tells you everything you need to know about their character. Stoicism teaches us to observe life as it is, without judgment or illusion. Marcus Aurelius advised, if you want to see a man's true nature, look closely at his intentions and actions, not his words. This principle becomes strikingly clear when we observe how someone interacts with those they perceive as beneath them, a waiter, a cashier, or a junior colleague. Consider this: the colleague who is endlessly charming to the boss, but curt and dismissive to the janitor. Or the friend who lavishes compliments on you, but barks orders at the server during dinner. These small, seemingly insignificant moments reveal the heart of a person far more than any carefully curated public behavior. True kindness and humility do not discriminate. They extend to everyone, regardless of status. Years ago, I worked alongside someone who was, by all appearances, the epitome of professionalism, courteous in meetings, gracious in public. But one afternoon, during a team lunch, I saw a different side. The moment our waiter made a small mistake with the order, this colleague snapped, raising his voice and treating the waiter as if he were utterly incompetent. It was jarring, even unsettling to witness such a stark shift. That experience was a turning point for me. It made me realize that kindness shown only to those who can offer something in return isn't kindness at all. It's calculation. True character is revealed not in how we treat those we need, but in how we treat those who hold no power over us. Stoicism encourages us to cultivate virtues like humility, respect, and fairness, not for the sake of appearances, but because they align with living a meaningful life. Epictetus reminds us, what is your aim? To be a good man, or to be praised as one? A genuinely virtuous person behaves with decency whether anyone is watching or not. They treat everyone with dignity because it reflects their internal values, not because it serves an external agenda. And yet, many people operate on the opposite principle. They prioritize impressions over authenticity, reserving their best behavior for those who can further their ambitions. When we pay attention to these dynamics, we not only see others more clearly, but also refine our own sense of virtue. Stoicism calls us to rise above superficial judgments and strive for a deeper understanding of human nature. The principle of observing how someone treats those in lower positions isn't just about judging others. It's a guide for how we should live as well. Here are some practical ways to apply this wisdom in daily life. 1. Notice the small moments. Next time you're out at a restaurant, observe how your companions interact with the staff. Are they polite and patient, or do they grow impatient and dismissive? These moments often speak louder than words. 2. Set an example. Model the behavior you wish to see in the world. Treat everyone with kindness and respect, whether it's the barista making your coffee or the stranger holding the door. Remember, your actions may inspire others to do the same. 3. Reflect on your own behavior. Ask yourself, how do I behave when I don't need to impress anyone? Do I show the same courtesy to the delivery driver as I do to a close friend? Self-awareness is the foundation of growth. 4. Choose relationships wisely. Use this principle as a quiet test of character. Pay attention to how potential friends, partners, or colleagues treat others. A person who is rude to a stranger but kind to you is not truly kind. They're opportunistic. When we treat others with dignity, especially those who may not expect it, we create ripples of kindness that extend far beyond the moment. Imagine how the world might change if everyone paused to consider the impact of their words and actions on others. There's a profound satisfaction in living with integrity, in knowing that your actions reflect your values, no matter who is watching. Stoicism teaches us that this alignment between thought and action is the path to true peace. And there's another, quieter joy, the realization that your behavior, no matter how small or unseen, contributes to the greater good. Every kind word, every patient gesture, every act of respect helps build a world where decency is the norm, not the exception. As we move forward in life, with the wisdom that only experience can bring, let us reflect on this. What does your treatment of others, especially those who can offer you nothing in return, say about who you truly are? It's a question worth asking, not just of others, but of ourselves. For in the end, it is our own actions, guided by our values, that define the legacy we leave behind. Number 3. Marcus Aurelius once said, "What stands in the way becomes the way." Life has a way of leaving its marks on us. Each joy, every sorrow, triumph, or failure contributes to who we are today. While many people claim to leave the past behind, Stoicism teaches us that the past is never truly gone. It lingers in the patterns of our thoughts, the way we react to challenges, and the choices we make. For those of us over 60, this truth resonates deeply. We've lived long enough to see how our past shapes not only our own behavior, but also the actions of those around us. The Stoics remind us to look at the past not as a burden, but as a key to understanding the present. Stoic philosophy emphasizes the importance of observing life objectively. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Dig within. Within is the fountain of good, and it will ever bubble up if you will ever dig." Understanding human behavior is no exception. To understand why someone behaves a certain way, whether it's defensiveness, distrust, or even kindness, we must first recognize the influence of their past. Consider this. A colleague who is overly cautious about sharing credit for a project might have been burned in the past by a dishonest partner. A friend who avoids deep emotional conversations could have endured painful betrayals earlier in life. Even someone who seems overly eager to please may carry the scars of feeling neglected or overlooked as a child. These behaviors aren't random, they're echoes of experiences that left a lasting imprint. When we start to see these patterns, we're not just observing others, we're engaging in what Stoics call sympatheia, or a deep, compassionate understanding of our shared humanity. Let me share a story. I once had a friend who seemed perpetually on edge. No matter the situation, they were quick to anger and overly cautious about trusting others. At first, it was frustrating. Why couldn't they just relax and let things go? But, as our friendship deepened, I learned about their past. Years of financial struggle, a failed partnership, and a family dynamic that required constant vigilance to avoid conflict. Suddenly, their behavior made sense. Their defensiveness wasn't a flaw, it was a survival mechanism they had developed over decades of navigating difficult circumstances. Stoicism doesn't ask us to excuse poor behavior, but it does invite us to understand it. By recognizing the forces that shape people, we can approach them with patience and empathy. This isn't about letting others off the hook. It's about equipping ourselves with the wisdom to see beyond surface-level actions and into the heart of why they behave as they do. The past not only influences others, but also holds sway over us. How many times have we reacted out of habit, not intention? Perhaps a casual remark triggers an outsized reaction, or we avoid certain situations altogether because they remind us of a painful memory. Stoicism challenges us to break free from these cycles. Epictetus urged, "First, say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." This wisdom teaches us that while we cannot change the past, we can change our relationship with it. Recognizing patterns within ourselves is the first step toward transformation. For example, someone who struggles with feelings of rejection might notice a tendency to withdraw at the first sign of conflict. By understanding that this reaction stems from past wounds, they can choose a different path, staying engaged and addressing the issue rather than retreating. The process isn't easy. It requires self-reflection and a willingness to confront uncomfortable truths. But in doing so, we free ourselves from the grip of old hurts and step into the present with clarity and intention. 1. Observe without judgment. Whether it's yourself or someone else, start by noticing behavior patterns without attaching labels like good or bad. Ask yourself, what might this behavior be protecting or compensating for? 2. Ask gentle questions. If someone close to you is acting out of character or seems stuck in a cycle, approach them with kindness. Questions like, what's been on your mind? Or, what do you think might be causing this? Can open the door to understanding without making them feel defensive. 3. Reflect on your own triggers. When you find yourself overreacting or avoiding something, pause and ask, what is this really about? Am I responding to the present or reliving a past hurt? 4. Practice forgiveness. This includes forgiving yourself. The past can weigh heavily, but holding on to regret only perpetuates its influence. Acknowledge what happened, learn from it, and let it inform your future choices without defining them. To the Stoics, the past is neither friend nor foe, it simply is. It's not something to be feared or ignored, but to be understood. Marcus Aurelius encouraged us to embrace this understanding. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. When we see our past, and the pasts of others, through this lens, we stop being victims of circumstance. Instead, we become stewards of our own growth, using the lessons of yesterday to guide our actions today. When we apply this wisdom to our relationships, something extraordinary happens. By understanding the past of those we care about, we deepen our connections with them. Misunderstandings fade, replaced by a mutual respect that allows for genuine communication and healing. In turn, this practice helps us become more patient, compassionate, and self-aware individuals. We no longer rush to judgment or act out of unchecked emotion. Instead, we respond thoughtfully, in alignment with our values. This is the essence of Stoicism, not to deny our humanity, but to elevate it. As you reflect on your own journey, consider this. What patterns in your life might be echoes of the past, and how can understanding them help you step more fully into the present? Your past has shaped you, but it doesn't have to define you. The choice to grow, to live with wisdom and intention is yours to make. Number 4. If someone is mistaken, instruct them kindly. If someone is lying, pay attention and remain calm. In a world filled with noise, the Stoics remind us that true understanding comes not from what is said, but from how it is said. Words carry meaning, yes, but tone carries truth. For those of us over 60 who have spent a lifetime observing people and their behaviors, we know that the way something is spoken often reveals far more than the words themselves. The Stoics teach us to be discerning listeners, to tune in to the subtle shifts in tone, pace, and energy that can uncover hidden truths or concealed lies. The Stoics viewed human behavior as a reflection of the inner state. Epictetus famously said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Similarly, when someone speaks, their voice reflects their internal world, their confidence, hesitations, and emotions. Consider a scenario. A colleague who is usually articulate and poised begins to stammer or speak more quickly when questioned about a project's progress. On the surface, their words may assure you that everything is on track, but their faltering tone suggests otherwise. This dissonance between words and tone is a red flag, a signal to look deeper, to question more carefully. These shifts in tone are often involuntary. When someone lies or withholds information, their mind wrestles with the truth they are hiding. This internal conflict manifests in their speech. It might be a sudden pause, a rise in pitch, or even a noticeable change in rhythm. The voice becomes the unconscious whistleblower, revealing discomfort or deceit. Becoming a discerning listener is an art. It requires more than just hearing words. It demands that we pay attention to the music beneath the lyrics. 1. Tone and pace. A sudden rush of words or an uncharacteristic slowness can indicate nervousness or uncertainty. For example, imagine someone defending a decision they made. If their usual confident tone becomes strained or overly cheerful, it might suggest they're not as certain as they claim to be. 2. Hesitations and filler words. When someone searches for words or fills pauses with or more than usual, it could signal discomfort with the truth. Their mind is buying time to construct a narrative that doesn't align with reality. Third, pitch changes. A rise in pitch can signal stress or anxiety, often associated with deception. Conversely, a sudden drop in pitch might indicate resignation or an attempt to mask the truth with seriousness. Once you notice these changes, how should you respond? Stoicism offers a guide. Remain calm, objective, and curious. Marcus Aurelius advised, be tolerant with others and strict with yourself. This means approaching potential deceit without judgment or hostility. Instead of accusing someone outright, ask open-ended questions. For example, can you walk me through that again? What do you think was the biggest challenge here? These questions allow the person to clarify or elaborate, giving you more opportunities to assess their tone and gather additional insights. By staying composed, you create an environment where the truth is more likely to emerge naturally. The ability to detect shifts in tone and uncover hidden truths is a valuable skill, not just in professional settings, but in every area of life. 1. Family conversations. Imagine a loved one assuring you they're fine after a difficult event, but their voice quivers or lacks conviction. These are the moments to gently dig deeper, offering support and understanding without pressing too hard. 2. Friendships and social interactions. If a friend's tone changes when discussing a sensitive topic, it might indicate unresolved feelings or an unspoken concern. Use this awareness to approach the situation with empathy. 3. Navigating conflict. In disagreements, paying attention to shifts in tone can help you identify when the other person feels cornered or uncertain. Adjusting your approach in these moments can lead to more productive and respectful resolutions. Interestingly, changes in tone aren't always about deceiving others. They can also reveal self-deception. People often convince themselves of half-truths to avoid facing uncomfortable realities. For instance, someone might enthusiastically describe a new venture they've undertaken, but their tone betrays underlying doubt or fear. Recognizing this allows you to offer encouragement or perspective without diminishing their enthusiasm. As Epictetus said, know first who you are, and then adorn yourself accordingly. In this context, knowing yourself means being aware of your own tonal shifts when speaking. Are you truly confident in your words, or is your voice betraying your doubts? For those of us who have walked through decades of life, honing our ability to listen deeply is one of the greatest legacies we can leave behind. It's not just about detecting deception, it's about understanding others on a profound level, seeing beyond the surface to the struggles and emotions that shape their words. When we listen with this level of attention, we cultivate trust, strengthen relationships, and create a ripple effect of empathy and connection. The simple act of tuning into someone's voice becomes a powerful tool for fostering understanding and compassion. As you think about your own conversations, consider this. Are you truly listening, not just to the words, but to the tone, the pauses, and the emotions behind them? What truths might you uncover if you started to hear more deeply? Let this question guide you as you navigate the dialogues in your life. The wisdom of Stoicism reminds us that the voice often reveals what the heart hesitates to say. By listening well, you not only uncover truth, but also honor the humanity in those around you. So number 5, a man's true self is revealed when no one is watching. Life teaches us that what people do when they think no one is paying attention often speaks louder than what they say when the spotlight is on them. Combined with subtle shifts in tone or behavior during conversation, these quiet cues can uncover truths hidden beneath the surface. For those of us who have walked through decades of experiences, we've seen how often these small moments reveal the truest essence of someone's character. Stoicism encourages us to observe without judgment, to pay attention to the details that others overlook, and to use this insight to navigate relationships with wisdom and clarity. Epictetus wisely said, "Nature hath given us one tongue but two ears, that we may hear from others twice as much as we speak." The Stoics remind us that listening is more than hearing words. It's about sensing what lies beneath them. When someone lies or conceals the truth, their voice often betrays them. A sudden hesitation, a quickened pace, or an unnatural pitch can signal discomfort or dishonesty. Imagine a colleague who is always smooth and confident in meetings, but stammers or pauses when asked about a project's progress. Their words may reassure, but their tone tells another story. These shifts in tone are usually subconscious. When someone's mind is grappling with the weight of deception, it struggles to maintain the natural rhythm of speech. Paying attention to these moments helps you discern what is unsaid, allowing you to uncover truths that words alone might obscure. While changes in tone are revealing, the Stoics also teach us that actions, particularly unguarded ones, are the ultimate measure of character. Marcus Aurelius emphasized, "What we do when we think no one is looking defines who we are." Consider this. A person may act courteously in a meeting, complimenting colleagues and presenting a polished demeanor. But watch how they treat someone with no authority over them, a server, a janitor, or even a stranger on the street. Do they maintain that same courtesy, or do they become dismissive, impatient, or rude? This behavior reveals their true character. Someone who is only kind when it benefits them is not truly kind. They are performing for an audience. Stoicism encourages us to see past these performances, to judge not by grand gestures, but by the quiet, unobserved moments that define who a person really is. How can we use these insights in everyday life? By combining the wisdom of observing tone with the clarity gained from watching unguarded actions, we create a fuller picture of the people around us. Here's how to apply these principles. 1. Listen with intention. When in conversation, pay attention to shifts in tone, pace, and energy. If someone's demeanor changes unexpectedly, take it as a cue to dig deeper, not with confrontation, but with curiosity. 2. Observe unseen moments. In professional or social settings, notice how someone behaves when they think no one of importance is watching. Do they show respect to those who can't offer them anything in return? 3. Ask open-ended questions. If you sense dishonesty or evasion, calmly ask questions like, "Can you tell me more about that?" or "What led to that decision?" This invites elaboration while giving you more opportunities to detect inconsistencies. 4. Reflect on your own behavior. Stoicism reminds us to hold ourselves to the same standard. How do you treat others when no one is watching? Does your tone align with your intentions, or do you sometimes allow ego or fear to influence your speech? Third, Stoics teach us to approach life with equanimity. When you notice a shift in tone or observe unkind behavior in private, resist the urge to judge harshly. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Whenever you are about to find fault with someone, ask yourself the following question: what fault of mine most nearly resembles the one I'm about to criticize?" Understanding someone's true nature doesn't mean condemning them. Instead, use this awareness to make informed decisions about your relationships. If a colleague is evasive or unreliable, adjust your expectations. If a friend shows a pattern of unkindness, consider whether their values align with your own. This perspective also fosters empathy. People's flaws often stem from past experiences or fears they haven't yet confronted. While it's not your responsibility to fix them, recognizing this can help you approach situations with grace and understanding. In both tone and actions, consistency is the hallmark of integrity. A person whose words and deeds align, whether in public or in private, is someone worth trusting. Stoicism calls us to strive for this level of authenticity in our own lives, to ensure that who we are when no one is watching matches who we are when everyone is. As we reflect on our decades of experience, let us embrace the wisdom of discernment. Listening deeply and observing quietly are not about finding fault, but about seeking truth. These skills help us build relationships rooted in trust and understanding while protecting ourselves from the harm of deception or insincerity. As you go about your day, ask yourself this: when you listen and observe, Are you paying attention to the truth beneath the surface? And in your own life, do your words and actions remain true, even when no one is watching? These reflections not only deepen your understanding of others, but also guide you toward living with integrity, the ultimate goal of the Stoic path. Number 6. Man is not disturbed by things, but by the views he takes of them. Throughout our lives, we encounter countless moments that stir our emotions. Some are fleeting, like irritation when stuck in traffic, while others cut deeper: anger at a perceived slight, sadness at a loss, or joy at unexpected praise. These emotional reactions are not random. Instead, they serve as windows into what we truly value. For those of us over 60, reflecting on the patterns of our emotional responses reveals profound insights about our priorities and the meaning we've assigned to life's experiences. Stoicism teaches us that by observing these reactions, both in ourselves and others, we can uncover what truly matters. It's not just about managing emotions, it's about using them as tools for self-discovery and understanding the world around us. Emotions, like unspoken words, tell us a story about ourselves. Imagine someone reacting with visible frustration when their work is criticized. Their anger might not stem from the critique itself, but from the importance they place on their professional reputation. To them, their work is not just a task, it's a reflection of their self-worth. On the other hand, consider the friend who lights up with joy when their effort is acknowledged. That burst of happiness isn't about the compliment itself, but about their deep need to feel seen and valued. These emotional cues act as signals, pointing directly to what lies at the heart of a person's priorities. Marcus Aurelius, one of Stoicism's great thinkers, observed, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This power begins with understanding why we react the way we do and using those reactions as a map to navigate our inner world. Have you ever wondered why certain situations trigger such intense emotions while others barely register? The answer lies in the personal significance of those moments. Strong reactions often indicate deeply held values, insecurities, or fears. For example, anger. If a loved one forgets an important date, the anger you feel might not be about the date itself, but what it represents: a fear of being overlooked or unimportant. Sadness. A feeling of sadness after hearing of a friend's success might not be envy, but a reflection of your own unfulfilled aspirations. Joy. A grandchild's small accomplishment can bring you immense joy because it affirms your values of growth, family, and legacy. When we observe our reactions with curiosity rather than judgment, we gain a clearer understanding of what drives us. This awareness not only helps us manage our emotions, but also aligns our lives more closely with what truly matters. Just as our emotions reveal our priorities, observing the reactions of others can offer profound insights into their inner world. Imagine a colleague becoming defensive when their suggestion is dismissed. Their reaction might signal that they deeply value their ideas and fear rejection. In personal relationships, paying attention to emotional responses can deepen your connection. If a friend becomes unusually quiet during a discussion about future plans, it might indicate anxiety about aging or uncertainty about their own path forward. A spouse's excitement about a shared project may reveal their desire for connection and teamwork. The Stoics encourage us to approach these observations with compassion. Epictetus reminds us, "Seek not to have things happen as you wish, but wish them to happen as they do, and you will go on well." By accepting people's emotions as natural expressions of their values, we can interact with greater empathy and wisdom. Stoicism offers practical guidance for harnessing the insights emotions provide. 1. Pause and reflect. When you feel a strong reaction, pause. Ask yourself, why do I feel this way? What does this emotion say about what I care about most? 2. Identify the underlying value. Emotions often point to a deeper truth. For instance, frustration at being interrupted might reflect a desire for respect or control over your time. 3. Observe without judgment. When others react strongly, resist the urge to dismiss or criticize. Instead, ask, what might this reaction reveal about what's important to them? 4. Respond with intention. Use the knowledge gained from your emotions to guide your actions. If anger reveals a boundary being crossed, calmly communicate that boundary rather than lashing out. Our emotional reactions, far from being weaknesses, are opportunities for growth. By exploring them, we deepen our understanding of ourselves and our relationships. Over time, this practice leads to greater inner peace and more meaningful connections with those around us. For instance, a grandfather might realize that his irritation at his grandchildren's misbehavior stems not from the behavior itself, but from his desire to pass down values of discipline and respect. Recognizing this allows him to approach the situation with patience and clarity rather than frustration. Similarly, understanding that a friend's jealousy over your achievements comes from their fear of inadequacy can shift your response from defensiveness to compassion. This perspective transforms conflicts into moments of connection and understanding. At this stage in life, we have the advantage of perspective. We've seen how fleeting certain moments can be and how enduring our values truly are. Strong emotions are not something to fear or suppress, but to embrace as a guide to what matters most. By cultivating emotional awareness, we honor our experiences while gaining the clarity to focus on what truly enriches our lives. We also set an example for younger generations, showing that wisdom is not about suppressing emotions, but understanding and using them wisely. As you reflect on your emotional responses, ask yourself this: what are my strongest reactions telling me about what I value most deeply? And how can I use this understanding to live a life more aligned with my true priorities? This question invites you to explore the depths of your emotional landscape, uncover hidden truths, and make choices that honor your values and the wisdom you've gained over a lifetime. Stoicism teaches us to observe without judgment, offering a path to deeper understanding of others and ourselves. The ability to read people isn't about gaining the upper hand. It's about building meaningful connections and enriching our awareness of the human experience. If you found this video insightful, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more wisdom on life, relationships, and personal growth. Share this video with someone who would benefit from these timeless lessons and leave a comment below. What have you observed about others or yourself through this lens? Let's continue the conversation and grow together.